They did it. The reunion that fans have been whispering about in comment sections and fan cafes for years has moved from rumor into the light. Yeon-seok and CEO Hyun-jin are confirmed to be reuniting for a new psychological drama, and the evidence is now on the record. What started as quiet industry chatter in July, agencies being coy, entertainment outlets saying the pair were in talks, has crystallized into a concrete entry on MBC's 2026 drama slate, a tentatively titled psychological thriller called Liar, which lists Yeon-seok and CEO Hyun-jin as its leads. That placement on the network's official lineup is the kind of breadcrumb that, in K-drama industry terms, translates to "this is happening." Not just wishful thinking, but a production that has passed planning and moved into the public-facing schedule. If you loved the blend of quiet emotional gravity and crackling chemistry that Yeon-seok and CEO Hyun-jin brought to Dr. Romantic, the thought of the two of them facing off in a mind-bending psychological duel is electrifying. Liar reportedly centers on two people who share a single memory, but remember it in two irreconcilably different ways, and as they pursue their own version of the truth, their lives spiral into a web of suspicion, attraction, and moral ambiguity. The concept is tailor-made for actors who excel in subtlety. Yeon-seok, who can read a scene like an open book, and CEO Hyun-jin, whose expressive nuance turns a pair of glances into a courtroom of feeling. Industry write-ups list Jo Young-min as director and Baek Jae-young as the writer, with planning by Jang Jae-hoon, a creative team that signals MBC isn't playing small with this one. They've assembled a crew used to psychological detail and tightly threaded storytelling. It's worth pausing on the timeline because that's where the evidence strengthens. Back in July, Korean outlets reported both actors had received offers, and each actor's agency publicly acknowledged they were considering the project, the familiar cautious choreography that precedes a high-profile casting announcement. Management SLOP, CEO Hyun-jin's agency, said she was positively considering the role, and King Kong by Starship, Yeon-seok's agency, confirmed he had received the offer and was reviewing it. Those responses are the usual cryptic, "Yes, we're discussing" language, but they're rarely issued unless a role is real and schedules are being negotiated. Over the next months, outlets tracked developments. When MBC unveiled its 2026 drama lineup on December 4th, Liar appeared in the list with Yeon-seok and CEO Hyun-jin attached. That public placement is the strongest documentary evidence we have so far. Networks do not include unconfirmed pairings in their year-ahead lineups without having cleared internal commitments, so the inclusion itself functions as a de facto confirmation. Beyond formal listings, the reaction from the trade and fandom communities also corroborates seriousness. Multiple reputable Korean entertainment outlets and international K-drama news sites picked up the story immediately when the lineup was published, and aggregator sites recorded the creative team names and a short synopsis. This is not the kind of item that lives solely in translated fan posts. It appears across 10asia's roundup of MBC's lineup, Soompi's headline coverage, and other industry trackers that monitor programming slates. When the same project appears across multiple independent media channels, especially those that regularly report on network programming, the chance that an item is a fleeting rumor drops dramatically. In short, the story's cross-publication is another layer of proof. What can we reasonably infer from the creative choices we know so far? The director Jo Young-min has a track record of nuanced character work. A psychological drama under his helm suggests a measured, character-first approach rather than surface-level jump scares. Writer Baek Jae-young's involvement points to a script that will likely interrogate memory, perspective, and moral complexity, not simply set up a mystery and chase it. Casting Yeon-seok as the male protagonist, described in some reports as a surgeon with a layered interior life, and CEO Hyun-jin as a teacher or writer who stands as his intellectual counterpart, suggests the series will rely on their established strengths, use capacity for interior restraint, and CEO's facility with emotional microdramas. That creative alignment, actors matched to material that plays to their strengths, adds further plausibility to the casting choice. This isn't just a business pairing, it has cultural resonance. The two actors first shared the screen in Dr. Romantic, a medical drama that became a cultural touchstone and introduced the pair to a wide audience. Their on-screen rapport was critically and popularly noticed at the time, Awards and fan reaction followed. 8 years later, a reunion carries nostalgia, but it also recalibrates expectations. Audiences no longer want only the comfort of reunion. They want narrative stakes that justify it. From everything reported so far, Liar aims to deliver on that by putting the reunion in a genre, psychological thriller, that naturally demands a more complex relational dynamic. The protagonists will test, betray, and possibly redeem each other, rather than simply falling into the safe patterns of rom-com nostalgia. Let's be precise about what counts as evidence here. In entertainment reporting, we rarely get an all-caps press conference where every detail is spelled out. The standard evidence chain is instead composed of agency confirmations, trade reports, and network programming announcements. We have all three. 1. Trade reporting and agency statements from July, when offers were first reported and agencies confirmed that the actors were considering the roles. 2. Continuing reportage through the summer and fall. And 3. MBC's formal inclusion of Liar and its lead cast in the 2026 lineup published December 4, 2025. When those three sources converge, the conclusion that Yeon-seok and Hyun-jin will reunite in Liar moves from rumor to established fact in the standard playbook of television journalism. Of course, there are still unknowns. Production schedule, exact premiere date, the full supporting cast, and the degree to which the synopsis may shift during rewrites. Korean network lineups sometimes revise titles. A literal title like Liar could be replaced with a different English title at distribution time, and casting can change if conflicts arise. But the pattern here, months of industry reporting, agency acknowledgement, and the network's public lineup placement, is as close to definitive as the industry gets before scripts are locked and production begins. For fans and journalists alike, those are the signals that matter most. Now for the fun part. Why might this pairing work especially well in a psychological drama? Yeon-seok's screen persona has long balanced charm with a kind of melancholy intelligence. In roles that require interior conflict, he often plays restraint like a loaded gun, a calm exterior concealing tectonic shifts below. Hyun-jin, meanwhile, is an actor who specializes in translating interior chaos into outward nuance. Her roles often unfold in incremental shifts, a blink that reveals a lie, a breath that reframes an accusation. Pair them in a story where memory itself is the battlefield, and you get an emotional chess match. Every line of dialogue becomes an attempt to own the narrative. Every silence becomes a claim. That's the promise of Liar as it's been described. Industry watchers have also pointed out that MBC putting Liar in its lineup signals confidence in the series' commercial and critical prospects. Network lineups aim to balance safe, audience-friendly fare with riskier, prestige projects that can define a season. Placing Yeon-seok and Hyun-jin together in a psychological thriller suggests MBC sees both star power and quality storytelling potential, a project that could perform well domestically and travel internationally, especially given both actors' recent visibility on global streaming platforms. When networks want a show to become a tentpole, they don't bury it in the schedule. They announce it, let press and fandom build momentum, and then funnel production resources accordingly. The MBC announcement is the moment where momentum begins to gather around Liar. Skeptics might ask, haven't there been other in-talks stories that fizzled? Absolutely. Casting negotiations fall apart sometimes, and projects change. That's why the December 4th network lineup matters. Once a network lists a drama in its official slate with named leads and creatives, the odds of it happening jump dramatically. Networks have to coordinate budgets, advertising plans, and international pre-sales. Listing a drama is not a throwaway move. That administrative fact is another type of evidence, paperwork and planning, albeit behind the scenes, that supports the public claim. In plain English, listings mean someone signed something, or at least committed internal resources. How should fans prepare? Expect a slow drip of official promotional materials, script reading photos, behind-the-scenes stills, and eventual trailers. Because Liar is framed as a psychological piece rather than straight romance, promotional materials will likely aim to set a mood, fragmented memories, stark lighting, and emphasis on the actors' faces during moments of withheld truth. Keep an eye on official MBC channels and the actors' agencies for tight, confirmed announcements. Those are the only sources you can treat as final. Meanwhile, enjoy speculation responsibly. The charm of a reunion like this is partly in the unknown, in imagining what two performers who once shared such potent chemistry will do with decade-earned experience and new emotional tools. If you want to be rigorous about verification and perhaps a little smugly evidence-driven when posting on forums, here's a short checklist you can use to confirm future updates. 1. Look for MBC official posts or the network's press releases updating Liar's status. 2. Watch for statements from management Sloppy and King Kong by Starship confirming contracts or script readings. 3. Verify that industry trades like 10Asia, Simpy, and other reputable outlets report the same facts. 4. Check for a registered copyright or KCSC. Korean Communications Standards Commission, filing listing broadcaster and title. And 5. For international viewers, check streaming partners and distributors who sometimes list acquisitions ahead of broadcast. In this case, items 1 through 3 have already been satisfied by the recent reporting and the official network lineup announcement, which is why declaring the reunion confirmed is reasonable. Finally, beyond proof and press cycles, there's the human dimension. Reunions like this are opportunities for storytelling evolution. Both Yeon-seok and Hyun-jin have matured as artists since their Dr. Romantic days. They bring new experiences, and that always changes the texture of performance. Pair that with a writer and director who seem intent on teasing apart truth and recollection, and you have the raw ingredients for a drama that could be as intellectually provocative as it is emotionally gripping. Whether Liar becomes a defining prestige drama or a cult favorite, the documented facts, agency confirmations, trade reports, and MBC's lineup listing give us good reason to watch this project closely and, frankly, to get excited. So yes, the reunion is real, the evidence is solid, and the promise is tantalizing. If you love careful acting, moral complexity, and the delicious tension of two brilliant performers trying to unpick the same memory while inching toward each other and apart, mark your calendars for MBC's 2026 season updates. Keep an eye on the official channels for the next batch of confirmations, production dates, script reading photos, casting fills, but take this moment to savor the rare thing it represents. Two actors whose shared history adds emotional weight to a story that wants us to question what we remember, who we trust, and what we'll do to claim the truth. Primary reporting and lineup sources. Simpy's December 4th article on the confirmation of Yeon-seok and Hyun-jin reuniting in the psychological drama Liar. 10Asia and Kazom reporting on MBC's 2026 drama lineup. Earlier July trade reporting covering agency statements that both actors were considering the offers. For the direct articles referenced above, see the Simpy coverage and MBC lineup reporting. The momentum surrounding the confirmed reunion of Yeon-seok and Hyun-jin hasn't slowed for a single moment. If anything, it has surged into something bigger, something almost electric, as fans, critics, and industry insiders begin piecing together what this psychological drama could truly become. The early confirmations and the strong creative team already hinted at something intricate, but the days following the announcement have added even more layers to the conversation, layers that reveal not just a reunion, but a creative collision that could redefine the psychological thriller genre in Korean television. What makes this continuation even more fascinating is the ripple effect the news has caused throughout the industry. Production insiders, though careful not to reveal more than they should, have quietly suggested that the script for Liar is one of the most ambitious written for a primetime Korean drama in recent years. Instead of relying on shock value or predictable twists, it reportedly builds a world where truth and deception merge into a single, unstable line, one that Yeon-seok and Hyun-jin must dance across with precision. That concept alone is enough to send imaginations spinning. The idea that these two actors, known for their emotional clarity, their delicate control, and their ability to stretch into the subtle corners of a character's psyche, would take on a project where even the audience is not entirely sure what is real is undeniably intoxicating. Fans have been replaying clips of their past work together, analyzing the evolution of their chemistry over the years. In Dr. Romantic, Their dynamic leaned toward realism, two people bound by the intense world of emergency medicine. But in Liar, the reunion asks something deeper of them. It asks them to create tension not from immediate danger, but from the quiet, creeping thread of mistrust. It asks them to shift their energy from the urgent beat of hospital halls to the eerie, suspenseful pulse of psychological conflict. And for actors like Yeon-seok and Hyun-jin, who thrive in emotional detail, that challenge is a playground. Already, speculation about their character arcs runs wild. Some believe the pair will begin the story on opposite sides of a traumatic event, each certain that their memory holds the truth. Others think the twist may lie in their connection. Perhaps their memories intertwine in a way neither expects. There's even talk that the drama may explore the fragile nature of identity, where memories are not just something we recall, but something that shapes who we think we are. If that is the case, then Yeon-seok and Hyun-jin aren't just playing characters. They're navigating mysteries crafted into the very structure of consciousness. For a reunion 8 years in the making, that complexity feels not just fitting but necessary. Another element that has captivated attention is the stylistic approach expected from director Jo Young-min, known for his meticulous framing and his tendency to build tension through silence rather than spectacle. Jo is a director who understands the power of stillness. When paired with Baek Jae-young's writing, often described as sharp, layered, and quietly haunting, the tone of Liar begins to take shape even before the first teaser drops. Early whispers suggest a series filled with dimly lit corridors, fragmented flashbacks, and long, emotionally loaded conversations that hover on the edge of confession. In other words, a drama that sees psychological conflict not just as theme, but as visual language. Production staff who worked with both actors previously have shared, off the record, of course, that they expect the pair to bring something transformative to the project. Yeon-seok, with his ability to portray men who carry invisible weight, could easily become the character whose memory feels like a burden. Hyun-jin, whose performances often unravel with delicate control, might embody a woman whose fragmented recollections lead her into the complex maze of her own psyche. Their strengths, when placed in opposition or alignment, guarantee a performance that becomes the beating heart of the show. International fans have also stepped into the conversation, particularly those active on streaming platforms where both actors' earlier works have gained new viewers over the years. As Korean psychological thrillers continue to gain global traction, the pairing of two widely respected actors in a genre that's rising in popularity almost guarantees international buzz. It's the kind of project that could dominate weekly rankings, generate global discourse, and invite analytical breakdowns with every episode. The anticipation is also pushing fans to dig deeper into past interviews, looking for clues in the way Yeon-seok and Hyun-jin spoke about roles that challenge them. Interestingly, both have mentioned in separate interviews over the years that they're drawn to characters who force them to stretch emotionally, to play people who are neither purely right nor purely wrong. The psychological thriller format thrives on ambiguity, and in Liar, ambiguity isn't just part of the story, it is the story. This alignment of personal artistic preference with narrative concept only strengthens the belief that this reunion isn't simply fan service. It's an intentional artistic choice designed to elevate the drama. Even without trailers, posters, or script-reading photos, the energy around this project feels unusually alive. Every new detail, even if small, contributes to a growing collective picture of a drama that could become one of the defining works of the year. People aren't just waiting, they're expecting. And that expectation is rooted in evidence, chemistry, creative potential, and the undeniable pull of two actors whose reunion feels earned. As we wait for official teasers, behind-the-scenes updates, and more concrete production details, there is only one place you need to stay connected for real-time updates, in-depth breakdowns, and exciting reveals: Midnight in Seoul. If you want continuous updates on Liar, early news drops, cast interviews, and full coverage of the evolving world of K-dramas, you need to be part of the Midnight in Seoul community. So before you scroll away, take a moment to subscribe to Midnight in Seoul on YouTube. Hit the notification bell so you never miss a single update. With everything unfolding around Yeon-seok and Hyun-jin's reunion, and the many surprises the industry still has in store. This is the moment to join a channel that keeps you informed, excited, and connected. Subscribe now, stay tuned, and get ready. Midnight in Seoul is where every true K-drama fan belongs.